Alright, yo, peace guys. How we doing? I'll just close Photoshop. So I thought I'm having a little look through some NASA videos for the next hour or so. Thought I might as well stream it. Put some windows so we get nice and fast. Yo, peace Bevs if you're in here, mate. How we doing, brother? Alright. So I'm thinking I'm going to ask the guy for genuine footage of Earth spinning from space. I'm going to say something like I'm having a debate with my mate, or my mate's bet me that I can't find the footage. And I've had a look through the website, and to be fair, there's nothing on there that actually states this is footage from space, because my mate tells me it's all CGI. So I'm going to ask the guy, can you provide me anything, basically? Can you provide me with a video and say it's genuine footage from space? I don't know if he'll direct me to one or what, or if he'll say there aren't any. We'll find out, I guess. Some weird stuff going on with Greenland as well. That's not really for asking the guy.
Antarctica are raising sea levels. Meltwaters from the continental ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica are raising sea levels. Those ice sheets are melting from both above and below. Much of the ice lost from the ice sheets comes from a process called calving, where ice erodes, breaks off, and flows rapidly into the ocean. A large volume of ice is also lost from ice sheets melting on their surfaces. To determine to what extent
we're looking for. This is a video that made me laugh, I think. Maybe it was a previous one where they've got the old clip of the Earth spinning with the clouds not moving. We're still using it in modern videos.
From a million miles away, the Deep Space Climate Observatory, DISCOVER, is capturing sparkling glints of light in images of Earth.
Nice picture.
The Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera, EPIC, onboard tiny ice particle light to see the Earth's atmosphere while en route to Jupiter. while en route to Jupiter. Studying the glints from DISCOVER can offer insight about how light reflects off Earth's atmosphere and how that could affect the planet's radiation. Could potentially ice an early step to ability.
More non-footage. Fake footage. I'm just going to ask the guy for something real.
Convective storms hold an extraordinary surprise. Under just the right conditions, they fire off some of the highest energy light naturally found on Earth, terrestrial gamma-ray flashes, or TGFs. Rising and falling snow and ice particles repeatedly collide, filling the cloud with electrical charge. Once the electric field is strong enough, a current flows and a lightning flash occurs. The flash produces an abrupt reconfiguration of the electric field. Data from NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope suggest more than 1,000 TGFs occur each day all over the globe. Tropical weather systems. Tropical storms far from land tend to generate less frequent lightning. Nevertheless, observations show they are surprisingly prolific producers of TGFs. Tropical storm Manuel made landfall just shy of hurricane strength. As it rapidly weakens, it produced 2 TGFs within 24 hours. More typically, TGFs are associated with the strengthening phase of a storm. As Typhoon Bolivan rapidly developed into
trying to find footage of a spinning ball from space. Blatantly not video, is it? Oh, what did that say? I didn't even read it. I've just released the first new global map of the Earth since 2012. Oh, at night. No, they're not claiming that's an actual video of the Earth, are they? Is that meant to be real, really? It doesn't even say if it's meant to be real footage or not. This is what I'm going to be asking the guy. Like, is this footage? What was it taken from? Is it just CGI? Are you using high altitude weather balloons? I'll have to mention that kind of stuff. Like this footage could have been taken from 120,000 feet. There's nothing to confirm it came from a satellite. Okay, here's a globe again. Yeah, I thought CGI, Bevs. It looks like it, doesn't it? It all does, though. Oh, there's no way they can even claim this is modelling it. This video is public domain and along with other supporting visualizations can be downloaded from.
It's always a challenge to predict each year how much Arctic sea ice coverage might change with the seasons. Now we have a new tool to make the summer forecast for sea ice minimums just a little bit better. This new forecasting model uses real-time satellite data of Arctic sea ice melt.
About the solar eclipse. If I think about it, it's going to happen. The going backwards, the shadow going backwards, it's a bit of a head fuck. At the minute, like, it makes sense that the shadow can go backwards in the globe theory of the solar eclipse, but it doesn't sit right in my stomach that it should do that. I think that there's something that we've missed in there, that it shouldn't actually be going backwards, but I've not taken the time to break it down fully and write it down on paper and think about it. But my stomach says that it shouldn't happen. But beyond that, the thing that busts the solar eclipse for me is the fact that when the moon comes in front of the sun, it creates a shadow on Earth that's smaller than the moon. Like, the shadow should get bigger as the light source is here and the object is here and the shadow is being cast here. The light source should come here and the shadow should go and become massive. But it's a small shadow that covers like 10% of the height of the United States and like, what, 5% of the width of the United States. So that's my thoughts on the solar eclipse. It can't happen on a globe model, but we went quite heavy on the shadow going backwards. And yeah, videos I've watched so far say that it can work in a globe model, and I sit comfortably with the videos, but I don't think that's correct. I think that there's something deeper to be found. But that's just a feeling from my stomach. Some people here will know that I trust my stomach really hard. Yeah, NASA explanations are fun. NASA explanations of everything and of anything are funny. We did a better job of explaining how the shadow can go backwards on a globe than NASA did. Like, NASA's videos showed a moon orbiting the Earth like 3 times a day. Which is a big joke.
So the predictions improve through late spring and early summer as they incorporate more information about the state of sea ice melt and distribution of open water across the Arctic Ocean. Although most forecast models focus on predicting the extent of sea ice across the entire Arctic, this model also produces reliable forecasts of sea ice in specific regions.
I can search in the videos, Earth videos. What's this? This looks like it's meant to be footage. Weather. Yeah, Dan says you should always trust your gut. That's it, bro. I hear that. I do trust my gut. That's why I think. That's why I'm willing to say it, I guess. Animation from Geo's East satellite. Animation from Geo's East satellite. Geo's East. Hold on, right. Animation from GOES East satellite of the winter storm in December 2016. This animation of infrared and visible images from NAOAA's GEOES East satellite from December 27th to 29th shows the development of the clouds associated with the large weather system expected to bring a significant weather storm to the interior northeast today on Friday. This animation of infrared and visible images. What's the definition of animation? Alright. The technique of photographing successive drawings or positions of puppets or models to create an illusion of movement when the film is shown as a sequence. Okay, so an animation can have photographs. So they could well be saying here photographs compiled into a video from the GOES. Animation of infrared and visible images. Infrared and visible images. What does that even mean? Oh, thanks, what was that? Appreciate it, brother. On the grind. Back on it now. I stopped meditating and got stressed about some life things, and it kind of derailed me. But now I've sorted the stressful things. I was meditating. Today's my third day back on meditating, so it feels good. Landsat's global view of ice velocity. Global view of ice velocity. Landsat 8 provides near real-time mapping of ice speeds. Is public domain. Good that all these videos are public domain. Is this meant to be real footage again then? Is this meant to be footage of a globe with a model over it, comparing ice movements around the world. I'm just going to ask the guy, I'm going to say, like, look, I've sat and looked through all these videos on NASA on the website, and none of them confirm categorically that it's an actual video from a satellite. Ice Bridge flies 300 hours of Antarctic science flights. Sounds interesting.
Antarctica is covered by the largest piece of ice on Earth. How that ice moves and changes affects the entire planet. A NASA airborne mission called Operation Icebridge is now completing its 8th consecutive year of measuring the changes in Antarctic ice. The science team uses the most comprehensive suite of instruments ever flown on long-range flights, including lasers, radars, an infrared sensor, digital photography, and a gravimeter. The mission was born out of a need to bridge the gap in observations between NASA's ICESat satellite, which ended its mission in 2009, and ICESat-2, scheduled for launch in 2018. This year, Icebridge was able to fly 2 missions around the 88th parallel to provide measurements at the southernmost edge of ICESat-2's planned orbits. Many of Icebridge's 24 science flights this year were focused on mapping the sea floor, where the Antarctic ice sheet meets ocean waters, so that scientists can better predict how fast the margins of the ice might melt. The mission also flew extensively over Antarctic sea ice, measuring extent and thickness of the frozen seawater. The team found coverage to be sparse in the Bellingshausen Sea, and as we know from satellite observations, sea ice coverage around the continent is currently at a record low for this time of year.
Right, clip this video for
the
official NASA footage
out of the need
of the
to
flat
bridge
horizon
the
in the
gaps and
Antarctic.
changes affects the entire planet.
I'll click that in a sec then.
A NASA airborne
That's
mission.
good. Official NASA footage. Of the Antarctic. Looks flat.
Called Operation Icebridge is now completing its
There's continent on the bottom of the globe, guys. That's NASA showing it yet.
8th consecutive year of measuring the changes in Antarctic ice. The science team uses the most comprehensive suite of instruments ever flown on long-range flights, including lasers, radars, an infrared sensor, digital photography, and a gravimeter.
That doesn't sound very complex, does it? What's a gravimeter? A gravity monitor? A gravity measurer? Gravimeter. Yeah. So it carries the most complex stuff: a laser, a radar, a camera, a fucking gravity
Radars,
meter,
an infrared sensor, digital photography, and a gravimeter. The mission was born out of a need to bridge the gap in observations between NASA's ICESat satellite, which ended its mission in 2009, and ICESat-2, scheduled for launch in 2018. This year, Icebridge was able to fly 2 missions around the 88th parallel to provide measurements at the southernmost edge of ICESat-2's planned orbits.
Look,
Many
that's
of
nice as well.
24 science flights.
That's really nice. That small continent, Antarctica. How big's Antarctica meant to be? $14 million kilometers squared. Fucking hell, Antarctica is meant to be bigger than America. Don't look like that on a globe, does it? How do I see it as a globe? I can't even get it. You can't even bring the globe all the way to the bottom. What's going on here? South America, some clouds. The Antarctic. Right. Oh no, that wasn't South America. So that's America. Isn't it? No, it's not. That's Africa. Where the fuck's America? That's South. Yeah, that's South. There we go. North America. There. Antarctica. Guess it does look quite big. Where's the North Pole then? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Master is saying it. There's the wall, it's the edge. This clip could be like, so where's the edge? It could be a video like, so where's the edge? And show some pictures. I got a few images of the edge. And you see, this is what's beyond the edge. This is official NASA footage. It'd be like, where's the edge? Well, we've got some pictures of the edge, and some independent explorers have never made it. We've got Admiral Byrd, who says he went there, but he was on the inside, so we don't know 100% what he said. But the most recent thing that we've found is this official NASA footage of the edge.
Many of Icebridge's 24 science flights this year were focused on mapping the sea floor, where the Antarctic ice sheet meets ocean waters, so that scientists can better predict how fast the margins of the ice might melt. The mission also flew extensively over Antarctic sea ice, measuring extent and thickness of the frozen seawater. The team found coverage to be sparse in the Bellingshausen Sea, and as we know from satellite observations, sea ice coverage around the continent is currently at a record low for this time of year. Several missions around the Antarctic Peninsula also provided a wealth of data and some beautiful images.
Oh, this isn't in the public domain.
Of special interest was a flight over a growing crack in the Larsen Sea ice shelf. Once this crack is fully formed, it will produce an iceberg roughly the size of the state of Delaware. All of this year's flights were based out of Punta Arenas, Chile. But next year, Icebridge plans to fly out of McMurdo Station in Antarctica in order to hit a new range of important science targets and All of this year's flights were based out of Punta Arenas, Chile. But next year, Icebridge plans to fly out of McMurdo Station in Antarctica in order to hit a new range of important science targets and continue to shed light on how melting polar ice is contributing to sea level rise.
Jokers. Good afternoon, AJ. How we doing, my brother? Everything is good.
This summer.
This is what Dan Lowe has just linked to us.
Stunt guy Roland Reddy gets his act together and calls in for backup.
Better buckle up, because we're blowing stuff up.
Raging Inferno. Now that's how we do it. We have no idea how bad I want to run through that sprinkler right now. It's hot out here.
But Roland is on a whole other mission.
Yeah,
and he's everything.
First of all, I know
I've not seen this video.
You're taking some heat on this whole flat Earth thing. First of all, I know you're taking some heat on this whole flat Earth thing. So Neil deGrasse Tyson. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look. Hello. In the middle of. Okay. I know. Is Neil in yet? Do you know? Building that we did a long time. 25 seconds. Talk to a red. Who's here? Hey Neil, you got 25 seconds. Talk to a redneck rocket scientist. 20 rocket scientist. 25 seconds.
I'm a little behind, but
I got just one thing. Well, first of all, my name is Roland Reddy.
How you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, all right.
Your work has given me so much to talk about to people, and I love it. So
okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's the universe. It's not my. I'm just sharing the universe with people.
Well, I just love the fact that, that we were able to catch up here for a second. Now, one of the questions I have, first of all, I know you're taking some heat on this whole flat Earth thing.
It's a failure of an educational system that we have full-grown adults who think that the Earth is flat. That we have failed. It's someplace in that educational system.
Somewhere there's something going on.
That's on the guy that does the show. That's on his like personal YouTube channel. It's like a little clip that he took out of the show, and he can't show anymore. The rest will be up when they release the actual show, the actual TV program. But Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to be shitting it soon. Like anytime he walks from a car to a venue, someone's going to ask him about flat Earth. I didn't see that Tyson tweeted on it. Nice one. Climate resistance. This could give us a bit of Antarctic again.
NASA scientists are working with officials from Rio de Janeiro and New York City using satellites to use climate models to predict and where the seas will rise. In New York, city officials take these predictions. Pavement in cities absorb heat. As green spaces disappear, expanding cities lose the cooling effects of plants evaporating water. As a result, cities are often warmer than their surrounding areas. NASA scientists use thermal bands from satellites like Landsat and MODIS to understand how city layouts can affect the heat they produce.
You can ask him why it's a ball as well.
From satellites like Landsat and
This is
MODIS
official
to
footage. Why is
understand
it
how city
a perfect ball? Because NDGT said it was shaped like a pear, an oblate spheroid. Monitors hurricanes. This is probably going to be claimed as legit footage. How's he going to defend himself if he finds himself a smart flat earther? Isn't it? is busted, mate. It's going to be one of them where like the cognitive dissonance potentially is going to kick in. I don't know if it'd be cognitive dissonance there, because he knows the truth, so it just get angry. I think that's what I can see happening. He only had one bodyguard with him there, didn't he? I don't think. Oh, maybe he doesn't realise how serious this is. I'm getting a bit of an idea of what I can say to him. Like, I wanted to be able to say to him, I've been through the videos on the NASA website and I've looked for a globe that I can't find. Oh, here's some stuff. I just need to have a wee because I can't concentrate properly while I'm thinking I need a wee. Yo, one of you guys ban this guy. What are you doing letting him just sit there? We're meant to be getting rid of the greys that are like this, not engaging them. Just get rid of them so that we don't bother with these fucking stupid conversations. Nice one, cheers, Bebs. Gem Panda came in on 2 accounts. On 3 accounts. But Beb's got them all. Okay, satellite movie shows development of tropical storm. I guess this is supposed to be official then. This says this animation of NOAA's GOES East satellite imagery from September 12 to 14 shows the development of Tropical Storm Julia over Florida and movement into Georgia. This animation of satellite imagery. So they're claiming that these photos have been taken from space, from a satellite. But I mean, that's too high for a weather balloon, isn't it? It's over 2 days, we're not seeing the Earth spin. What I really want to get is, I want the guy to say, yes, this is, I want him to link me to a video or a couple of videos and say, this is official NASA video footage. Like, it's official images from satellites from space of Earth. It's not an animation. Well, it's not a composite, because an animation can have real images in it. I want him to categorically state that it's genuine imagery. I'm going to ask him for a complete spinning globe as well. Oh, I've got more. NASA exposing the Antarctic's wicked. Oh, this is Arctic, so this is the north.
You start out with 0.
He's
0
back.
miles flown, 0 data collected. This year, Icebridge started out with yet another big 0. There were no aircraft available for the mission, as NASA's
Gem Panda's joke. Don't even get time to read his messages before they get banned. He's spending more time fucking making new accounts than we're spending reading his messages. I bet Bevs didn't even read that before banning. It was just like, there's that name again, ban. Some people, they just ain't got a fucking, well, I guess they must have a brain cell, but not using it effectively. Come on, where's the spinning globe? What's this? Interconnected, the science of NAMES.
Chemistry,
N-A-A-M-E-S.
biology, physics. A NASA mission has gathered experts in all 3 disciplines and more. These guys, phytoplankton. In the North Atlantic, there are trillions, and springtime is when they bloom. Phytoplankton produce a gas called dimethyl sulfide, or DMS, and as that gas passes into the atmosphere, it rapidly breaks down. The resulting sulfur compounds become aerosols, microscopic particles in essence, and water condenses around them. And you know what you get when countless water droplets condense in the atmosphere? Clouds. There's a startling connection. Phytoplankton affect cloud formation. But phytoplankton growth depends on available carbon, and the warmer the temperatures of the ocean, the less carbon that water can hold. Less carbon could restrict phytoplankton growth, which in turn could affect global cloud cover, among other things.
We've all been at that point where
when one part of the system changes, everything shifts, and that's why NASA has teams out in the field studying how the system works from all sorts of angles. So what's the mission's third big moving part? That would be the agency's fleet of spacecraft, currently in orbit gathering global information 24/7, 365. Lessons learned. Studying how when one part of the system changes, everything shifts, and that's why NASA has teams out in the among other things. When one part of the system changes, everything shifts, and that's why
is this meant to be official footage? What's this white thing floating about? These stars or what?
NASA has teams out in the field studying how the system works from all sorts of currently in orbit, gathering global information 24/7, 365. Lessons learned from names and related research will help experts develop the next generation of spacecraft, some of which are already on the drawing board. Most people know NASA for its interplanetary adventures, but that high-flying know-how also enables it to conduct some of the most important scientific research right here, on the planet where you're watching this video. Most people know NASA for its interplanetary adventures.
It doesn't make me laugh how slow they take off.
But that high-flying know-how also enables it to
NASA flat horizon out of the plane again.
But that high-flying know-how also enables it to conduct some of the most important scientific research right here, on the planet where you're watching this video.
You could just make a video of just going through NASA, like, here's another flat horizon from a NASA video, from a NASA website. Thanks, Ben, for keeping the chat clean, brother. Super mod. The Earth is getting greener, rising CO2 levels, but this has got some fake satellite solar panels. Oh, this is a look how it's not a fisheye lens video, innit? Is this meant to be an official video? I mean, that's a bit strange because it's got localized sunspot on it. Globe at the end. How do you know what's meant to be legit? I haven't even read what he's saying. Is he copy and pasting the same thing? It looks like the same amount of characters. I gotta say, I used to spend hours just playing video games, so it's the same kind of thing, I think. They're just finding entertainment. Have we looked at this one yet? Record low ice. Oh yeah, I think we did look at these ones, decided they were models.
We've grown accustomed to seeing images of our planet from space, but full Earth views like these have actually only been seen by a few astronauts on their way to the moon and a handful of retreating space probes like Galileo as they peered back toward home for the last time.
It sounds like he's seriously saying that this is a legit image of Earth. This is the one where the clouds don't move. This is the classic, the clouds don't move even though the Earth does.
But thanks to the EPIC camera on the Discover satellite, we now have a new image of the entire sunlit side of the Earth every 2 hours. Of course, satellites in low Earth orbit give us high-resolution images of the planet every day. but they need to be patched together over time to make a composite blue marble. Seeing the full sunlit side of the Earth at once will advance our understanding of dust particles or aerosols traveling in the atmosphere, the height and location of daytime clouds, and the amount of the sun's energy reflected by the Earth, all of which help calculate the Earth's energy balance for climate studies. Discover is the first Earth-observing satellite parked in orbit at L1, the first Lagrange point.
Let's just have a look where it is here then. So the Discover satellite is 1 million miles away from Earth and still sending back images. It was launched by SpaceX on a Falcon 9 launch vehicle. It's got the Epic camera. From 1 million miles, so it confirmed it's 1 million miles away. Oh, we've got a phone number on this one. Obey the rules and we will be fine. Give him a ring. I don't think I've got Skype open yet. I have to wait 5 minutes for it to open. So this, I was looking for the 1 million mile satellite because I'd heard that there was one that was 1 million miles away, and I'd found one yesterday. Can't remember what it was called. That was like 800,000 kilometers away. But this one there, Discover, 1 million miles away. That's a fucking joke, innit?
A spot almost 1 million miles from Earth, where the gravitational pull between our planet and the Sun is at perfect balance. Even from so far away, EPIC will be able to make observations of vegetation cover on land and individual ship tracks at sea. Discover also has instruments facing the Sun, which will study the solar wind and its magnetic field. Discover also has ship tracks at sea. Discover also has instruments facing the Sun, which will study the solar wind and its magnetic field, as well as give us early warning of severe space weather.
Online public records profile for Vicky Moyles. That's what that phone number's coming up with. One of the trolls had the phone number in the end of their name. Let's come up with this. It's a bit weird. Let's come up with an address, a phone number, some names. I do wonder who this is. Potential address. Whatever, let's give it a ring and find out. Invalid phone number. 623. I don't know what country it's meant to be then. Put it on US. It's not a UK number. Invalid phone number. Yeah, whatever. Wasting time on trolls now. Oh nice, ODD sent. Here's a cool song for your list. Guess we'll have to give that a listen. So, this is a recommendation from ODD. Must be good.
Yeah, Yeah, this is going out to all the globe heads out there.
I think it's already on the list.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Where my FE warriors at?
We'll have a little couple more minutes on a couple more videos of NASA. Maybe I could call NASA while all the trolls are in the chat. It'd really piss them off. And get them going, wouldn't it? Earth is flat. Doo, doo, doo. These ones with pictures of satellites that don't make me laugh. Observing the 2015 El Nino. Hello, Jana.
The 1997-98 El Nino is the strongest on record, and its impacts were felt all over. Is the strongest on record. 1997-98 El Nino is the strongest on record, and its impacts were felt all over the world. Extreme weather patterns, drought, wildfires, floods. All can be linked to a pool of warm water. Could be the strongest yet. A new fleet of satellites and instruments orbiting above Earth, with advanced sensors and cameras that will allow us to see this year's El Nino like never before.
El Ninos have happened for more than 2 centuries. The changes are always good.
To answer fundamental questions about how Earth's land, oceans, allowing them to predict the shape of events in the future.
How fires and other natural events are influenced by each
of space. NASA's network of satellites and instruments will explore how such small changes can have a broad effect on people around the globe.
What about footage of this cover? I think we're going to call him soon. Oh shit, that was that link that someone sent us. European Stop Engineering Geoengineering Anthem.
What? Pandemic?
Yeah, nice one. I appreciate the link. Like, we're all against geoengineering, but it's not really flat Earth. Jana. Thank you for the link though. I appreciate the energy and the input. Yeah, totally against chemtrails. Maybe I'll just mention though, while we're looking at this, chemtrails, the elites are deceptive and they won't poison their own atmosphere. So, and we know about Project Bluebeam. So I propose that chemtrails are not harmful to our environment or our atmosphere, that they're literally just there for the upcoming projection. So I would say don't worry about chemtrails. Personally, I'm not worried about them anymore. This is something that hit me over the last couple of days now that I've gone back into the meditation. It's a piece of information that I received that said the chemtrails are there for them to project holograms on. They're not going to poison their own atmosphere. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about chemtrails, bro. Yana, look at how they go multi-level. They know. They will have our focus on something. Like, look how it's done in the media. They put out a big media story when something's going on in the background, so that we keep our attention on the media story. And the media story is allowed to run. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be pedogate. It can be like, I don't know. Pedogate, I'm thinking, is the one where it looks bad on all the politicians, but it's still there covering up something else. So the chemtrails, they're not going to allow the chemtrails to. They're not going to allow if the objective was to fuck up the atmosphere with chemtrails and chemicals, they wouldn't allow it to get so big and be so obvious. They're putting that in our face and saying, yes, that is what's happening, like, go and investigate the chemicals in chemtrails so that we can do what we're doing behind the scenes. That's just the way they work, bro. And you getting sick from every time they spray chemtrails. It's in your head, bro. It's, you create your environment around you. If you're saying to yourself, yo, stay, don't leave just yet, listen to this. If you're saying to yourself all the time, oh, the chemtrails are making me sick, the chemtrails are making me sick, you're going to get sick when you see them. It's a placebo. It's called law of attraction. It's creating your own reality. It's, I mean, you're saying to me, I'm ignorant, research more, chemtrail flu. Brother, look into how we perceive our own reality, how we create our own reality, how our thoughts, our internal thoughts project into our external environment. Like, have a look into that, and that's going to explain why you get chemtrail flu. I bet you'll get it when you're in your house, won't you? You sit in your house and look out the window and see chemtrails. The chemicals can't get in your house, but you've got the mental block. You're mentally telling yourself, oh, them chemtrails are making me ill, so they make you ill. But anyway, peace and see ya. So it's the same with this flat earth thing. I'm coming to think now that they're letting us discover flat earth. Like, it was all part of the plan. They knew it was going to happen. They knew the flat earth exposure would happen. And I'm seeing that this is just like my theory at the minute, that they're going to allow flat earth to be exposed. We're going to go plain wide on, yeah, the earth's flat. NASA was talking shit, like, let's shut down NASA, can't trust them. And then they're going to project like a crack in the dome, or God coming through the dome, or asteroids smashing the dome. I can see them doing something like that, like smashing the dome, but not actually smashing it, holograms of it, visualizations, holograms, so that we all go underground. Because these deep underground bases, deep underground military bases, and the rich people that are building deep underground bunkers, I mean, that's all over the TV and all over the news, and there's documentary channels about it, documentary series about it. Like, that wouldn't be so in the mainstream if they weren't trying to influence our mind. So I think what they're trying to say is, everyone's getting ready to go underground, guys. All the rich people are getting ready to go underground. So that's where to go when shit happens. So they'll be like, smash, big noise on the dome. Oh no, look, the dome's cracked. Something bad's going to happen. You all better get underground. Everyone goes underground, and then who knows what's going to happen on the ground. That's what I think. Yeah, drunken flaptard bitches, got it. You tell janitor, wake up, to grow up. Right. What time is it? Central time. Can we call him yet? .18. I don't know what time NASA open. I'm going to aim for about 11 o'clock in the morning. I think that's a good time, because then I've been in work a couple of hours, and 2 hours is kind of chill time. So you'll get 2 hours of work done, and then by 11 o'clock you might be starting to think, oh, I can kick back and have a little easy conversation. So I'd like to call him at that time, I think. I'm gonna end the stream in a minute. I need to go get a bit of work done. Go get on the Twitter and Facebook. Maybe do a bit of a video. I've got your map as well, Bebs. Kept hold of that. Where am I going for this stream? Looking in the wrong place. Go OBS. Alright. Yeah, alright, thanks for watching the stream then, guys. I'm going to ring him in about a couple of hours, I'd have thought, if anyone's still about. Maybe I'll try and set up an event so that it says on here like half an hour before I do it or something, but it's a bit confusing. Not sure. Anyway, I'll chat to you all later. Peace, guys.